I grew up in southwestern Virginia. I grew up through the camp system, and goalkeeping camps were extremely popular here in the United States. I'd spend a week every summer, and the rest of the time I was really just trying to develop my goalkeeping skills so that I would get a better evaluation the next year. The level of soccer wasn't excellent where I was in southwestern Virginia. I would say that whoever could toe bash the ball the furthest was probably the best player that we had. But through some of the decisions within my family, we moved out to Southern California. My dad got a new opportunity out there. Played club soccer there for a while, and really had to take a step back and play junior varsity there my junior year. And just had to continue to work, and went to a Division II school. I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills there in Carson, California. Played well enough there that I transferred into UCLA. I paid my own way to a goalkeeper combine down in Florida. When I was on my trip back, I got off the plane and found out that I'd been drafted to play for the Los Angeles Galaxy, which was a huge honor. I think that I was a little bit naive when I was the third goalkeeper in Los Angeles, because I thought that I really was going to become a professional. But then June came and Jorge Campos came back from Mexico, and it got a little dicey there for a little bit, but they decided to keep me instead of the other goalkeeper was there. And just continued to work hard, and had the opportunity to start for the Los Angeles Galaxy from 1998 on, and really just my competitive drive. I just always wanted to make sure I was in a position to play on the weekend, and that made me work harder, get in the gym, work on my nutrition. Just everything really in my life was just about the starting job, and so all of my commitment was in that direction. It's interesting because when you talk about goals, I think one of my biggest goals was just playing professionally, and making that my job. And I think if I could go back, I would have made a bigger goal, because I kind of accomplished that mission by the time, I was 25 or 30. And I should have had bigger aspirations within the national team. And it's just a difficult time, you have goalkeepers like Casey Keller and Brad Friedel and Tim Howard all kind of coming up through at the same time. So it's difficult to get games at the international level. But there was a real comfort level within the professional game for me. I was able to play for the Los Angeles Galaxy for 10 years. And just in modern sports, that's almost unheard of, to be able to have the opportunity to play 10 years in one place. Then to go to Kansas City and feel at home there, and then FC Dallas, I really have kind of established myself there, my residence and my family, everybody's moved there. So, and then to be able to wrap up with the New York Red Bull. I think a lot of it was about, I think maybe sometimes I was lucky with some of the injuries that I had, but a lot of it is a real tribute to the people that worked on staff. Whether it's the fitness coaches who were able to kind of keep me in good enough shape that I was able to be able to play 420 some odd games. It is a miracle, but I think it was also a little bit the time, that I was playing. The league was young. There weren't a ton of goalkeepers that had an extraordinary amount of experience, and so after year after year after year, just gaining that experience, you were kind of light years ahead of the other goalkeepers. So I feel fortunate to have grown up in that generation and to have the opportunities that I did. And the goals, sometimes they might seem a little bit selfish, but I think the reality is other times they just kind of come. You want to start on a week-to-week basis, and before you know it, you've had 200 games that have gone by, and then 300. And I think just being able to persevere through some of the difficulties was the reason that I was able to play that many. Yeah, I think to stay healthy within the league, I think it's you really have to make sure you take the off season seriously. There's a lot of times where I feel like you can really lapse into more of a lethargic off season and maybe just try to recoup from some of the mental rigors of the season. But you really have to make sure that that's your opportunity to build a strong base for the upcoming season. And I did have a wrist surgery where I had to have a bone graft out of my hip, and that was probably my most difficult injury throughout my career. I had a meniscus surgery, but I think in the grand scheme of things, to have had only 2 or 3 surgeries over a 17-year career is pretty phenomenal. And the fitness coaches obviously play a huge role in that. The training staff, making sure that you're able to kind of rehabilitate through some of the issues that you're likely to have. But I really just feel like it was my willingness to kind of work through stuff. You know, you're never really going to play at 100%. There's a lot of times that you just have to make sure that your 85% is good enough, you know, and so by just continuing to push and have higher expectations of yourself, then that might just be enough to get you out there on the field, and then just play for your life and just hope that you've had that success, and hope that the preparation that you really put in is enough for you to get the result and to continue to perform at a top level.